Hello, I'm Ajahn Sona. Welcome to Sauntering into Silence. The big scary yellow dot following me, and a little green one too. So while I'm out on this beautiful walk, I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about the meditation that I actually like the most, which is Metta meditation, often translated as loving kindness. I think the preferred translation for me is Goodwill. One beautiful thing about living here at Birkin is listening to Ajahn Sona talk to people about kind of a good foundation for their meditation. And he's always talking about being happy, being emotionally mature, having that, being able to, see negative events and just not being overcome by them, but to be able to look at them with wisdom. And a lot of that comes from this foundation of metta. One thing he says that I've never heard any other teacher say, but makes total sense to me, is that when you're trying to develop this quality, this emotion in yourself, this emotion of goodwill, and when you feel that, it permeates your entire body. It really does. It really can. And so Ajahn Sona says that however you can get that going, as long as it's a wholesome activity, then do that. Listening to beautiful music, or painting, being creative yourself, or reading poetry, writing poetry. For me, it's being out in situations like this, just being outdoors in nature, really brings that sense of emotional stability, maturity, happiness. So develop it a lot until you can really know it. And then what happens for me is a meditation, a lot of the meditation, sati is often translated as mindfulness, but it's really memory. So it's remembering, the joy that I feel on days like this. When I sit down and meditate, I can mentally recreate this entire scene. And also I can remember, if I'm mindful in this moment of how joyful I am, I can remember that. And so I bring it back into my meditation and feel that happiness and joy. Feel the warmth of the sunshine on me. So then that's the foundation. So then the way I learned metta meditation is through the Burmese commentarial tradition of using phrases and going through different categories. So I, for some reason, just picked these, probably the first ones I ever heard. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease of well-being. Now, each one of those has a slightly different feel for me. So what does it feel like to be safe? And I remember that, and I can bring that memory into my body, and I can actually feel it. May I be happy. That's different than being safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. And so it's basically just learning all these different ways of feeling goodwill. And then what happens is, as you're using these phrases, you will get distracted. You'll stop doing the practice accidentally. You'll be worried about what's for dinner tonight, unless you're a monk or a nun, then you won't worry about that. But over time, you start to see where it is that you get distracted, and you'll learn to overcome that. You'll become more mentally, emotionally mature and be able to stay with that feeling longer and longer and longer. Then once you can do it for, say, 15 minutes straight without getting distracted, then you go to the next category. And say, oftentimes that's a benefactor or a teacher, somebody who's helped you out on the practice. And what you do is you start, the feeling of goodwill is exactly the same. And you're not sending it. That's often that's the way I hear people talk about it. You don't send it. What you do is you develop that sense of loving kindness, and you learn how to be able to wish that for yourself. And then that loving kindness stays the same throughout the entire rest of the meditation. But what you're doing is may I have this loving kindness even while thinking about somebody else. So what happens is it's like, like say a teacher, you may be sending them loving kindness and really, doing them as the phrases, like you use the word sending there, but you're thinking about this person with loving kindness, may they be safe, may they be happy. But then all of a sudden this thought comes in, it's like, oh, well, why do they look at me that way? Or, why do they think that way? And so as soon as you have that thought, you're no longer doing loving kindness, you're thinking. And so you go back to the very beginning of meditation, you develop loving kindness, you go through yourself again, get it established, and then back to the teacher. And eventually, you'll start to see all the connections you have, that attachments you have to that person, and how you lose doing loving kindness for them. And then once you can do that for about 5 minutes, so you've done yourself for 15, you've done them for 5, then you go on to a good friend. Same thing, different associations will trip you up. Then you go on to a neutral person, which is difficult to do because you really have they're neutral because you don't have a strong attachment to them, likes or dislikes. And so it's easy to get kind of distracted. But once you figure that out, then you go on to a difficult person. And again, you're not like loving this person, but it's how can I be safe? How can I be happy? And have that feeling going through my entire body, even while that person is in my consciousness. Then, at that point, if you do that person for 5-10 minutes and everybody else for 5 minutes or so and yourself for 15, that's like a half hour. And that's a really strong basis there for concentration. And you'll be able to, take that into, say, breath meditation or body awareness, whatever meditation you're doing, and will just give you, a great foundation for that. So that's how I use the loving kindness meditation. May you be safe. May you be as happy as I am when I'm out here in this. May you be healthy. May you live with ease of well-being.